Okay, so now let us today look at the problem where we have the multiple elements. Okay, so in the single thing, so in the single problem where we have multiple series and parallel elements, how we can able to find out the input impedance. So now let us take this problem first. So then we'll move to the chart. First we'll whatever the calculation part we will going to do. So then later we'll going to do the problem in the chart. Okay. First whatever the calculation we will do. So this is the problem. So where we have the inductor, which is L1 28.6 nanohenry, and a capacitor which is 8.6 picofarad C1, and L2 which is equal to 79.6 nanohenry, and we have C2 12.1 picofarad. Okay, so or we can connect like this, and then we have the inductor L3, so which is equal to 38.2 nanohenry, which is connected to a load value of 300 ohm. Okay, so now we have to find out what is the input impedance. Okay, so these are all the values where series and parallel elements are there. We have to find out what is the input impedance. So the frequency which is given 100 megahertz, okay, and Z0 which is given it as 50 ohm. So now first we need to find out what are the normalized reactances or normalized susceptances which are offered by this series and parallel element. Okay, so now let us take this L3. So what is the reactance? Because since it is in series, so it will offer a series reactance. So how much series reactance it is offering, we can able to calculate by using this equation, that is Jx. So series element 1, let us take this one, series element 1. So Jx, which is the reactance offered by this series element 1. Okay, or we can represent L3. So better, so whatever the reactance offered by the, so the inductor L3, or we can write the normalized, okay, so reactance. Okay, so normalized reactances or the normalized susceptances. So now we can know this equation. So for this one, J omega naught, so L3, okay, so this divided by Z0. So this is the reactance which is offered by the inductor L3. Now substitute this one. So J into, so what is omega naught? 2 pi into the frequency which is given 100 into 10 power 6, and L3 which is given 38.2 into 10 power minus 9 Henry, that is nanohenry. So this divided by 50 ohm. So now calculate what is the reactance offered by this inductor. So Jx L3. So calculate it. What is the reactance, series reactance? So take these values and try to do it. What is the reactance? Can anybody tell what is the value? Okay, so J.48. So now this is a value which is offered by the inductor L3. So now similarly we can write the reactance offered by the capacitor C2. So since it is a shunt connection, so we need to have JBP due to the C2, the capacitor C2, the susceptance offered by the capacitor C2. So this we can, so given by, so because of the C2 which is in parallel, so we have J omega C2 divided by Y0, or J omega naught C2 divided by Y0. So now put it the values, J into 2 pi into 100, so into 10 power 6. So what is the C2 value? C2 is 12.1 into 10 power minus 12. So this divided by, so 0.02, because y naught is nothing but 1 over z naught, which is equal to 1 over 50, which is 0.02. Okay. So now put the values and try to find out what is JBP2. So that is the susceptance offered by the capacitor C2. What is the value? So what are the values? What is JBP2? What is the value you are getting for the susceptance value? Okay, 0.38. So J.38. This is a susceptance offered by the capacitor. Now similarly, so again find out the reactance offered by the inductor L2. So which is Jx. So this is in series because of L2. So the reactance in series, so which is due to L2, which is equal to J into again, so omega naught L2 divided by the Z naught, so which is equal to J into 2 pi into 100 into 10 power 6. So L2 is, so which is given by 79.6 into 10 power minus 9 divided by 50. Okay, so now you can calculate what is Jx due to L2, the reactance offered by the inductor L2. Now what is the value for inductance offered, that is reactance offered by the inductor L2? It is J1. Okay, so J1. Now similarly, so you can see what is the susceptance offered by the C1. So that is JBP due to C1, which is equal to J into, so since it is a again similar like here capacitance C2 whatever we have calculated, similar like this one, so that is J omega naught C1 divided by Y naught, so which is equal to J into 2 pi into 100 megahertz into C1 is 8.6 into 10 power minus 12 divided by 0.02. So find out the value. So J.27. Okay, so this is JBP due to the capacitor C1. Now similarly, so you can find out what is the value due to the inductor L1. So that is J omega, so L1 divided by Z naught. So this is the inductance, that is reactance offered by the L1. So which is equal to 2 pi into 100 into 10 power 6. So now the value of L1 is 28.6 nanometer. 28.6 into 10 power minus 9. So this divided by 51. So now find out what is the reactance offered by the inductor L1. Okay, it is 0.35. So now we have found out the corresponding reactances which are there in the circuit. So now we have to take the Smith chart and we have to add these corresponding elements to the load value, so that we will arrive the input impedance. So now first you have to mark the load value. So since the load value which is equal to ZL equal to 300 ohm, so now the normalized ZL value which is equal to 300 by 50, which is equal to 6. Okay, so now we need to mark where is the 6. Okay, so now we can see here, so it is 3 and this is 4 and this is 5 and this one is the 6. So you will get the ZL normalized value here. Okay, so you can see, observe here. So this is the, so where we will get the normalized value after 5. Now you can observe here. So 4 and then 3, 4 and 5. So upper half of this Smith chart, it is there the resistance values. You can mark 6. Okay, so that is the value where we will get the normalized value of Z, that is 6. So now after this one marking, so now we need to add the reactance offered by the inductor L3. Okay, so what is the inductor L3 which is offering, which is 0.48. Okay, so now for this one, so since it is series inductor, we have to add the positive value which is 0.48. So now see the inductor value, that is reactance, where it is the 0.48. Okay, so now since we are adding the inductor, so we have to move on the resistance circle. So we have already seen where we have in the Smith chart. Okay, so where we have the resistance and we have the conductance values. Now if I have here the load point, if the series inductor, we have to move on the resistance circle upwards, and if it is series capacitor, we have to move along the resistance circle downwards, and if we have the parallel inductor, we have to move upwards in the conductance circle, and similarly if I have the shunt capacitor, we have to move accordingly whatever the value of the reactance downwards in the conductance circle. So now since we are having the value of the inductance, it is in series, so which is offered 0.48. So now we have to move on the resistance circle upwards. So since it is a series inductor, so now we can see where is actually the 0.48. So now you can see, so this is a 0.48, and if you, so nearly if you come, so somewhere here we will going to get the value. So very near to it, the 0.48, the inductance, that is reactance offered by the inductor L1. So very small value, so that could not able to do it. So we cannot that much very small value. We cannot make it out here, but you can see very clearly it will going to give that value. Okay, so now after this, again you have to find out what is the impedance at that point. Okay, so once we know the point, after adding L3, so you have to see what is the point B which is offering the impedance. Okay, so now let us take that impedance. So the point is A. Okay, so that point A, so which we have, so almost which is so equal to the value which is Z A, which is normalized at point A, which is equal to, okay, so anyhow which is having 6 plus J 4.8, sorry 0.48. Okay, so this is the value we are going to get on point A. So we have to move on the resistance circle upwards. Okay, so now we have to add the susceptance of the capacitor. Okay, so we know the susceptance of the capacitor on the conductance circle we have to move. That is, so you have to switch into the Y chart and we have to move on the conductance circle. So now you can see at this point I am moving on the conductance circle. So where we have this conductance circle. So parallel to wherever near the value of the conductance circle, I am drawing the conductance circle, and where we need to add the value of the capacitance, that is reactance offered by, that is susceptance offered by the capacitor C2, which is 0.38. Okay, so we need to add, so that point where we have, so this one, so we need to add the susceptance offered by it, which is 0.38. Okay, so now if we add that 0.38, so we will going to get the value, so where we will going to get, the point, another point which is B. Okay, so somewhere here, so after adding this susceptance, so we're going to get the point B. So that is, so ZB which is equal to, so after addition of that susceptance. So before adding the susceptance, so we need to find out what is the admittance value of that one. So once we find out the admittance value at point A, so now YA we need to find out the admittance, because we are adding the susceptance, not the reactance. So here we are having the reactance value. So first we need to find out at point A what is the admittance. So now admittance you can see, so it is around 0.18, the conductance value 0.18. Then so it is in the upper half, it is minus J. So what is the value? The susceptance which is around, it is 0.05. So let us take this value 0.05. This is the admittance at point A. Okay. So now since we are adding the susceptance of capacitor C2, so that is 0.38. So now we have to add the susceptance to the admittance value where we have find out at point A. Okay. So now we have YA equal to, so that is what, so I cannot focus the camera, but I can tell you, so by just putting on top of it. So first we are finding out the ZL normalized value, and we have to move on the okay, so if we better we can look at, so if I take the value of ZL which is not 300, somewhere here in between. Okay, so let us do that for 300 itself. So where we have here, so we are moving on the resistance circle upwards, because we are adding the inductance. Okay, so series inductance that is offered by the series reactance. So since here there is a small variation, we cannot able to find out. So only small variation is there at point A. So now at point A we are finding out the admittance value by using the Y chart. So that is by using the conductance circle as well as the susceptance circle. So now we have YA which is equal to 0.18 minus J 0.05. Now we need to add 0.038 which is offered by the capacitor, the susceptance offered by the capacitor C2. So now if I add that one, you will going to get the YA which is equal to the, after adding this, let us take the point B, YB, so which is equal to 0.18, so plus J, so if you just subtract it, you will get 0.33. Okay, so this is the where we have to locate the point B. So we have to get 0.33. So the susceptance which is 0.33 is here. Okay. So this is 0.4 and this is 0.3. So somewhere here you will going to get the value. So this is your YB. Okay. So after coming down on the conductance circle, so that means we are adding this much susceptance. We are coming down from the point A to point B. So now we are getting the point B where we have the admittance value which is 0.18 plus J 0.33. Okay.
Sir, can you please explain that once again, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, and Smith chart is full blur, sir. We can't see anything.
So that is what I am telling
And
you.
what you are writing is also not visible.
So in the Smith chart, hello,
In the Smith chart also, and not, and in the other sheet also, sir.
this is not visible.
No, sir, it is blur.
Okay. So if I use this color, it is okay. This is visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then this is not a problem. You can use the equations and you can find it out the reactances. That is not a problem. Okay. So just we are finding out the reactances of inductor as well as the capacitors. Okay. So now I'll just go. So how in the Smith chart, first I'll explain how in the Smith chart we are doing. So by just sketching it. So then we can follow in the Smith chart. Okay, so now let us take this one, the first point. Okay, so the first step we are locating somewhere ZL bar, that is ZL normal.
Sir, if you write in pencil, it is not visible, sir. It is full blur.
Okay. Okay, so I'll write in the sketch itself. So now just follow the steps. The first step we are locating the ZL bar. Okay, somewhere here ZL bar, that is RZL normalized value, which is there. Okay, so now for the load value, now first one we are adding the inductance L3. Okay, so now as we have discussed, so if it is there, so on the resistance circle. Okay, so this is assume the resistance circle, and this is somewhere conductance circles are there. Okay, so now on the resistance circle, so now we have ZL normalized value, which is equal to 6. Okay, so now let us assume at point A. Okay, so at point A, so we have the ZL normalized value, which is 6. Okay, now we need to add the reactance of L3, that is at point A. So the impedance value is Z equal to 6. So now at that point, so we need to add the reactance of the inductor, which is L3. So which is point J, what is the value we got? So which is 0.48. Okay, so here we have the 0 reactance. Now for the point A, wherever we have the Z normalized value, we are adding the reactance of this inductor, so that you will going to get at some other point B. Okay, so after adding this much reactance, so we are moving this much reactance. Okay, so this much reactance on the resistance circle. Okay, so now after adding, you will going to get the point B, where we are adding this much reactance, that is 6 plus J.48. You will going to get this much value at point B. Now this is the first step. Is it understood? Any doubt in this? Hello? Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now in the second step, what you need to do, so since we are adding the capacitor, that is shunt capacitor C2. Okay, so we know that shunt capacitor, which is offering the susceptance, which is equal to J.38. Okay, so now since we are adding the susceptance at point B, first we need to find out what is the admittance value. Okay, so at this point B, so again we have to switch to the Y chart. Now at point B, switch to Y chart. Okay, so now somewhere here point B is there, assume that. Okay, so now we have to find out what is the conductance value which is passing through that point, and the susceptance value which is passing through that point. Okay, so now whatever point B we have find out here, at the same point we have to find out what is the admittance value. Okay, so now that is what the admittance value, whichever we got here, so in the Smith chart. So whatever I told, the admittance value YB, which is equal to 0.18 plus J.33. That is what I got in the Smith chart. Okay, after, so since we are, 0.18 minus J.05, that is at the point B. Okay, so that is what I got in the Smith chart. So at point B, after adding this reactance, we are finding out the admittance value YB. So that is given by 0.18 minus J.05, which I got in the Smith chart. So now after finding out the admittance value, now we need to add the susceptance of the capacitor, which is this much. Okay, so if I add that one, 0.J038, you will going to get the resultant admittance, which is equal to 0.18 plus j.33. So now we need to locate that after adding, let us take the point C, okay, where we are after adding the susceptance, we are locating the new point which is C, so YC. So that is after adding the susceptance of the capacitor 2. Okay, so from this point to, so we are adding this much capacity, that is susceptance. So that is what at point C. Okay, so let us take point C after adding this susceptance of the capacitor 2. Okay, so now after C2 again we need to add the inductor L2. Okay, so the reactance offered by the inductor L2. Now what is the inductor L2 which is offering? The reactance which is offering, which is J1. But here we have the admittance value at point C. So since we cannot directly add the reactance to it because it is in the conductance and susceptance value, again at this point we need to find out what is the impedance. Okay, so at this point ZC we have to find out the impedance. So now just I will find it out what is the value at point C. So let us assume this is C and this is whatever B where we have moved earlier, and the load point we assume it as A. So now at this point, so what is the ZC I am going to read. Okay, so here the ZC which I am getting here it is, so ZC I am getting it as 1.2 and then I am getting as around 1.4, 1.6, 1.82 and then 2.2, 2.4. So that is minus j 2.4. So this is what the value I am going to get at point C, which is the impedance value. Again at point C we have to switch it to impedance chart. Okay, again at point C we have to switch it to impedance chart and we have to find out the ZC. So that I am getting 1.2 minus j 2.4. Okay, so now we can add the reactance because it is the reactance, it is also reactance, we can able to add it. So now after adding Jx of L2, so that is plus J1. So now if I add, I will get the new point which is taken it as D, which is equal to 1.2 minus J1.4. Now after adding the reactance J1, we can locate the new value of impedance which is at point D, which is equal to 1.2 minus J1.4. Okay, so maybe somewhere here, so on the resistance circle, so if I assume this as a resistance circle and this the point which is passing through this one, so I'll write one more Smith chart. Okay, so where we have ZC here. Okay, so now since we are adding the reactance to it, so we need to move on the resistance circle upwards. So we are moving to the new point which is D. So now this is point C and somewhere here point D. So this much reactance we are adding it. This much reactance, that is J1. Okay, so now we need to locate the point D on the Smith chart. Okay, so now I am adding the reactance value J1 and I am getting the resultant value this. I will locate this point D, the resultant point D. So where here it is 1.2 minus 1.4. So now this is the value where we are getting the new value of the point D. Okay, so now this is a point D. So now we got the impedance value at point D. So now next element is again the capacitor. Okay, so we have to, after L2 we have to again add the capacitance value C1, the susceptance offered by the capacitor. Now for that, at that point we have to find out what is the admittance again. So now switch it to the Y chart. Now switch it to the Y chart at this point and find out what is the value. So now we have find out ZD, which is okay. So at that ZD point value, which is minus J 1.4. Now at this point, at the same point D, we have to find out the admittance value. So now we can see what is the admittance value. So now admittance value, which is equal to around, I am getting here around the conductance value, which is equal to 0.36, okay, 0.36, and then which is point plus J 0.4. So this is the admittance value we are getting at point D. Okay, so now at point D we are getting the admittance value, which is equal to 0.36 plus J 0.4. Okay, so now we can add the capacitance. So C1, so this is the admittance at point D, 0.36 plus J 0.4. Now we can add the susceptance of C1. So what is the susceptance of C1, which is obtained, which is 0.27. Now we can add 0.27 to this, so that we will get the point E. We are adding the admittance, that is we are adding the susceptance to this admittance value, which is 0.36 plus J 0.67. Now we need to locate the point E after adding this susceptance. Okay, so now we can locate that point E. So now we have got the value 0.67. So now 0.36 it is, so here only it is there. So this is the conductance circle. We have to move conductance circle, since we are adding the capacitance downwards, we have to move. Okay, so now we are going to locate 0.67, 0.5, 0.6, 0.67, somewhere here. So this is the point somewhere 0.67 approximately. This is the point E. Okay, so now first we are going in the resistance circle upwards, then coming down on the conductance circle. Again we are moving on the resistance circle upwards. Again we are coming down on the conductance circle down, because it is a shunt capacitor. So now at point E, so we have already the admittance. Now we have to find out what is the impedance value at the same point E. So now the impedance value, which is I am getting here, it is 0.65. Okay, so 0.65, and then it is minus J 1.15, minus J 1.15. So now this is the impedance value at point E I am getting. Okay, so now after getting this point E, so now we have to, so since at point E we are having the impedance, so now finally we need to add now, so finally we need to add the series inductor, is it not? Finally we need to add the series inductor, so that's why I am finding out the impedance at that point. So now for this ZE we need to add the inductance value, that is 0.65 minus J 1.15. We need to add the that is reactance of the inductor L1. That is, so what is the inductance of the inductor L1? So which is equal to 0.35. Add J 0.35 to it. So you will going to get the final input impedance. This is what your input impedance after adding all the elements. So which is, now we are adding, so since assume this is the resistance circle, so now we are adding again the inductor. Okay, so since it is a series inductor, we have to move on the upper side of the resistance circle, so that we are adding the inductor. So we will going to get 0.65, so minus J, so how much we will going to get? 0.8 we will going to get. So now we can locate that point, so input impedance point. So moving on the resistance circle upwards. So now we are moving on the resistance circle upwards. So now where we can find out the input impedance. So but we need to find exactly where is the point 8. Okay, so it is 1, this is the point 8. So this is the value. So I am just moving a little bit far. So now this is the point where we have the input impedance. Okay, so is it understood or not? In any point, any doubt? Okay, so now you see, I'll explain once again. So we have the load value here. So first we need to add the series reactance of the inductor. So we are moving on the constant resistance circle, okay, upwards. So from that point to a little bit small value which is there, 0.48, we are adding and finding out the point B, where we will have the 6 plus j 0.48 at point B. Okay. So now from that point B, so we have to move on the conductance circle since we are adding the shunt capacitance. So we are adding the susceptance value. Find out at B what is the admittance value. So once we have find out the admittance value, we add that susceptance to that admittance so that we can get the admittance of the resultant one after adding the susceptance of the capacitor 2, which is YC. Okay. So now that YC value, so we are getting here, so 0.18, so 0.18 plus j 0.33. So since we are coming down on the conductance circle, because since we are adding the shunt capacitance. Okay, so now once we get that the admittance value, so we have to find out the impedance because we need to add again the inductor. So after capacitance C2, we need to add the series inductor. So that's why we need to again find out the impedance value at point C. So now at that point C, this is the impedance value. Okay. Now for this impedance value, we can directly add the reactance of the inductor L2. So now after adding, we are getting the new point where we have the impedance of this. So after adding this inductor L2. So now at this point again we need to add the capacitor C1. So after adding L2, we need to add the capacitor C1, which is shunt. So since it is a susceptance value, the capacitor C1 is a susceptance value, we need to find out what is the admittance at point D. Okay. So now since we are adding the susceptance value, that is shunt capacitor C1, so now we are moving downwards from point D to point E. So where we have added the susceptance value of the capacitor C1. So now we are moving downwards, that is from point D to, so we can observe here, since we are adding the susceptance value of capacitor C1, we are moving on the conductance circle downwards. Okay. So now this is a point E and we are finding out the point E. So this is the admittance value. So now after this again we need to add the inductor L1. So since it is a series reactance, again we have to switch at point D. So we need to switch, point E, we need to switch the impedance E, that is ZE. So we have the admittance value, we need to switch it to impedance value. So once we get the impedance value, now we need to add the reactance of L1. So after adding the reactance of L1, this is the final point where we will going to get the impedance value. So now this is a normalized one. Okay. So now this is the normalized value of the input impedance. Now if you want to get absolute value, you have to multiply with the characteristic impedance, which is 50. Okay. So if you multiply 50, so you will going to get, how much you will going to get? So just calculate it. So 32.5 minus j 40. This is your input impedance. So is it understood? Any point, any doubt? I'll briefly explain once again. So with the point. because it will be very easy to understand. Now see, first we have the ZL, okay, so which is at point A, okay. Now we are adding the inductor value, which is L3, which is a series reactance. So now after adding for this reactance, we will get the point B, okay. So now at the first step is at point A, we have to find out ZA, which is equal to 6, okay. Now after adding the reactance, that is J.48, we will going to get the resultant value, which is this one. So that is at Z, at point B, we have 6 plus J.48. At point A, let us take only the load value, which is 6. Now ZB, after adding the reactance of the inductor L3. So now at B, again we are adding the capacitance C2. So since we are having ZB, we have to find out YB. Okay, so that is what YB we got here. So that is 0.18 minus J.05. Now we need to add the capacitance, the reactance, capacitive susceptance, which is 0.0838. So we will going to get the new point, which is YC 0.18 plus J.33. So that is what the point C after adding somewhere here. So we can write the same point B and point C, which are same. So, is it understood? So after adding the susceptance of the capacitor C2, we are getting the point C. So now after this, again we need to add the inductor, that is L2. So for that inductor, series inductor L2, we have to find out what is ZC. So that is what we are finding out the ZC value. Okay. So now after finding out the ZC value, again we are adding the capacitance C1. So for that, after adding the inductor value, we will get the point somewhere ZD, okay, after inductor L2. At the same point ZD, we need to find out YD. So since we need to add the capacitance of C1, okay. So that after adding YD, so finding out YD, we are adding the susceptance of this capacitor C1. So we will going to get the new point E1, that is E. So at this E, so again we are adding the inductance of L1, that is the reactance of L1. So at E, we are finding out the admittance, so that is after adding the capacitance susceptance. Again we are finding out at point E the impedance value, since we need to add the reactance of inductor. So that is what the impedance at point E. Now you need to add the reactance of the inductor L1. Finally we are going to get the impedance. That is the normalized value of the impedance. So now is it understood? Anybody, any doubt? Somebody is
Sir,
not
can you
muted.
please explain in Smith chart how to draw from point D to point E, sir?
Which one? Just come again.
It's only in Smith chart how to plot, go from point D to point E.
Okay, so that is fine. I'll get that. See, so now simply I'll ask you a question. Let us take, so point D where we have find out. Yeah,
Sir, your Smith chart is not.
yeah, I'll tell you. So now you can see, so now this is a point D, okay. So now from point D to point E, we are moving on the conductance circle downwards. Why? Because we are adding the capacitive susceptance C1. Is it understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So since for point D, so we are finding out after adding the inductor L2, we are finding out the impedance. Then after that, we need to add the capacitance C1 susceptance. At point D itself, we need to find out the admittance value. Okay. So now after finding out the admittance value, we need to add this much susceptance, okay, of the capacitor C1. that we are moving on the constant conductance circle downwards. Why? Because it is a shunt capacitance. Okay, so then we are arriving at point E. Okay, so at point E again we are finding out the impedance value, because next element we need to add the series inductor. Okay, after finding out the impedance value at E, we are adding the inductor reactance, and that we are moving on the constant resistance circle upwards, and we are finding out the final impedance value. Is it understood? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so this problem is very important. So many a times they are asking the same problem in the examination. So little bit you take care and you try to practice it with the different values. And if you get any doubt, you can ask me. I will tell you. Okay. So we'll stop.